1935, Germany. Ferdinand Porsche dreamed up a car for everyone, a car that could carry a whole family, tackle any road you threw at it, and just keep running long after other cars gave up. By 1937, his idea had reached Germany's leadership, and they gave the order. Build a people's car. It had to be cheap, reliable, and unstoppable. At the heart of this vision was a revolutionary engine. Unlike anything else out there, it would be compact, light, and cooled by nothing but air. The idea gave us the Volkswagen air-cooled Flat 4, one of the most ingenious mechanical designs ever. It wasn't built to be a powerhouse. It was built to survive, and survive it did. What Porsche built wasn't just an engine. It was the mechanical soul of the 20th century. Tucked away behind the rear wheels of the Type 1 Beetle, this little 985 cubic centimeter engine sat low and quiet. It delivered 25 horsepower, just enough to get the car to 62 miles per hour and keep it cruising all day long. It weighed barely 70 kilograms, and its balanced layout made it smooth, efficient, and pretty much indestructible. The pistons faced each other like two boxers, which is how it got its boxer engine name. With its magnesium alloy crankcase and finned aluminum cylinders, a belt-driven fan shroud kept it cool no matter what, whether it was facing Arctic snow or Saharan heat. Engineering anatomy. When you pop the lid on this thing, you'll see what makes the Volkswagen Flat 4 a true mechanical masterpiece. At first glance, it looks almost too simple, right? Just a little lump of metal with some fins and a fan. But that's where the genius is hidden. The layout is everything. There are two cylinders on each side, lying flat and punching in opposite directions. The original post-war engine had a displacement of 1,131 cubic centimeters and made just 25 horsepower. It's that perfect balance that cancels out vibrations so well that the whole engine feels smoother than it has any right to. Over time, displacements increased, reaching 1,584 cubic centimeters and 60 horsepower in later Beetle models. Because it's air-cooled, you don't have a radiator or a whole tank of coolant to babysit. Instead, a belt-driven fan blasts air through a maze of tin ducts, wrapping the cylinders and heads in a constant breeze. It's basically a built-in wind tunnel, keeping things cool no matter how hard you push. Throw in a little oil cooler, and you've got a surprisingly sophisticated temperature control system, all without a single drop of coolant. The crankcase isn't heavy cast iron like most engines back then. It's made from a lightweight magnesium alloy. A new magnesium crankcase weighs approximately 25 pounds, significantly less than heavier aluminum cases. That meant the whole thing was tough as nails, featherlight, and wouldn't rust away. Every single part was built for function, not for flash. The pushrod valve system was so simple, the carburetor so easy to tune, you could pull the entire engine out in under an hour with just basic tools. And that simplicity, my friends, was the secret weapon. The fewer parts it had, the fewer things could go wrong. And when something did go wrong, you didn't need a fancy shop or a garage full of special equipment to fix it. This was an engine you could literally rebuild in your own garage, or if you were in a pinch, right there on the side of the road. This wasn't just engineering, it was clever engineering, the kind that outsmarts problems before they even have a chance to happen. Production run and global impact. Once the war ended, Volkswagen had one mission: rebuild. And the little air-cooled Flat 4 became the heart of that comeback story. It powered not just cars, but a whole generation of dreams. This wasn't some limited production showpiece. This was the engine that mobilized the world. The Beetle was the obvious star, that round, smiling shape hiding the Flat 4 in the back, humming its signature rhythm. A total of 21,529,464 original Beetles were produced by the time manufacturing wrapped up in Mexico. But that same engine didn't stay there for long. Soon it found a new home in the Volkswagen Type 2, the world-famous bus. Suddenly, this humble motor was hauling families, surfers, and even hippies across continents. It powered delivery vans, campers, and even airport tugs. Everywhere it went, it carried the same reputation: reliable, tough, and nearly impossible to kill. Volkswagen kept refining that same basic design for decades. They made small tweaks, new heads here, better oiling there, but the soul of it never changed. From dusty desert roads in Africa to frozen mountain passes in Norway, the same Flat 4 kept chugging away, unfazed by time or terrain. By the time production finally wrapped in the 2000s, the world had built millions of these engines. Not just in Germany, which manufactured over 16 million Beetles alone, but in Brazil, Mexico, and beyond. It became one of the longest produced engine designs in automotive history, spanning from 1936 to 2005. But its real legacy wasn't in the numbers. It was in what it represented: freedom. The sound of that flat four idling behind you wasn't just an engine, it was a heartbeat, a reminder that you didn't need power or luxury to go anywhere. Just a little courage, a little fuel, and that unmistakable Volkswagen hum pushing you forward. Meanwhile, if you want more stories of legendary engines and the brilliant minds that built them, consider hitting that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coming your way. All right, let's get back to the video. Performance and evolution. Here's the funny thing about the Volkswagen Flat 4. It was never meant to be fast. Yet somehow it became one of the most modified, most abused, and most celebrated engines in car culture. From factory commuters to full-blown drag monsters, this tiny motor has lived more lives than almost any other engine ever built. In the beginning, it was modest. The early 1,131 cubic centimeter engine produced just 25 horsepower. It was barely enough to get you up a hill without a running start. But Volkswagen didn't chase big numbers. They chased balance. Each new version got a little stronger, a little smarter, reaching 60 horsepower in later 1.6-liter versions. And while the car world moved to overhead cams and water jackets, Volkswagen stuck to its air-cooled guns, proving that sometimes simplicity wins. Then the enthusiasts got involved, and that's when things got wild. Backyard mechanics started boring out cylinders, adding twin carbs, swapping cams, and pushing compression through the roof. A stock Beetle might run a quarter mile in over 20 seconds, but a modified drag car with the same flat four could drop into the 10-second range at 128 miles per hour. Even Porsche borrowed and evolved the concept, turning the flat four layout into something that could win races. The 1.5-liter engine in the Porsche 356, a direct descendant of the Volkswagen design, made 60 horsepower initially and propelled the car to 160 kilometers per hour, 100 miles per hour. The DNA was the same: compact, balanced, and beautifully direct. And here's the thing: every ounce of that performance potential was baked into the design from day one. The short, rigid crankshaft, the low center of gravity, the balanced firing pulses. It was born to rev, even if Volkswagen never bragged about it. So while other engines came and went, chasing trends and turbos, the air-cooled flat four quietly built a legacy. It didn't shout, it didn't boast. It just proved again and again that greatness doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to last. Strengths and unique qualities. Ask anyone who's owned an old Beetle or bus, and they'll tell you there's just something different about a Volkswagen Flat 4. It's not the numbers, it's the character. The engine doesn't just run, it feels alive. That soft whir, that rhythmic thump, thump, thump from the back, it's mechanical music, and it never quite lets you forget that you're driving something with a soul. One of its greatest strengths is balance. That horizontally opposed layout keeps the weight low and perfectly centered. The dry weight of the engine was around 210 pounds for earlier versions. No nose-heavy handling, no weird vibration. The car feels planted, playful, like it's dancing on its tires instead of just rolling on them. You can toss a Beetle around a corner and feel the engine helping you, not fighting you. Then there's the simplicity. No radiator to leak, no water pump to fail. Just air, oil, and engineering so straightforward it's almost poetic. You could strip this engine down on a workbench with a handful of tools and put it back together before lunch. That's why mechanics loved it, racers tuned it, and travelers trusted it. And the durability, legendary. There are stories of Beetles running hundreds of thousands of kilometers with nothing more than oil changes and valve checks. In testing before the war, early prototypes were put through more than 2.9 million kilometers of road tests. Sure, it won't win any drag races in stock form, but it'll get you to the finish line every single time. Even today, the Volkswagen Flat 4 stands as proof that engineering brilliance isn't always about power. Sometimes it's about balance, simplicity, and heart. It's the kind of engine that doesn't just move a car, it moves people. And once you've heard that unmistakable sound, it's impossible to forget. Weaknesses and reliability quirks. Now here's where we lift the hood on the other side of the legend. Because as tough as the Volkswagen Flat 4 is, It's not indestructible. For every story of one running forever, there's another about one running hot. And if you've ever owned an air-cooled Volkswagen, you know what I mean. Heat is both its best friend and its worst enemy. Unlike a water-cooled engine, there's no radiator to buffer temperature swings. So when airflow drops, say, you're crawling through traffic or climbing a long hill, heat builds fast. That's when things like dropped valve seats, warped heads, or cracked fins can sneak up on you. Volkswagen eventually added larger oil coolers and better fan housings, but it was still a delicate balance. Then there's oil. The flat four lives on oil. It cools it, cushions it, even helps carry heat away. Skip an oil change, use the wrong grade, or let it run low, and you're asking for trouble. Many old engines lost their lives to clogged oil passages or tired pumps that couldn't keep up. And let's not forget the leaks. If your Volkswagen doesn't mark its territory, it's probably out of oil. Those pushrod tubes, crank seals, and valve covers love to weep. It's not catastrophic, just messy and, over time, costly if ignored. But here's the thing. None of these flaws are deal breakers. They're quirks, not curses. Every great machine has them. Take care of it, keep it cool, and the Volkswagen Flat 4 will give you a kind of loyalty few engines ever match. It just asks for one thing in return: respect. Tuning and aftermarket fuel. Here's where the Volkswagen Flat 4 goes from humble hero to full-blown maniac. You see, underneath that polite hum lies an engine that practically begs to be modified. And enthusiasts, they listened, loudly. For decades, hot rodders, racers, and backyard mechanics have treated the air-cooled Volkswagen like a blank canvas. Swap the heads, bump the compression, bolt on twin carbs. Suddenly your 40-horse Beetle is a fire-breathing pocket rocket. And the beauty of it? You don't need a wind tunnel or a lab coat. You just need a wrench, some guts, and a little imagination. People started boring and stroking these engines to insane levels, turning their original 1.2-liter design into monsters twice that size. Some of the largest modifications use 94mm pistons and an 82mm crank to reach displacements of over 2,276 cubic centimeters, while custom builds have exceeded 2,800 cubic centimeters. Add a pair of Weber carbs, maybe a turbo if you're brave, and the same engine that once powered a commuter Beetle could run quarter miles faster than muscle cars from Detroit. Some drag builds push well past 300 horsepower, and yes, they're still air-cooled. Modified Volkswagen drag Beetles have clocked quarter-mile times under 10 seconds at over 130 miles per hour. Then came the off-roaders. The Baja Bug scene turned this engine into a sand-slinging legend. Strip the body, raise the suspension, slap on a set of exhaust pipes that sound like thunder, and that little flat four suddenly transforms into a desert warrior. What makes it magical is its accessibility. Parts are everywhere, knowledge is free, and the tuning culture is global. It's one of those rare engines where the line between builder and driver disappears because you become both. And when it all comes together, the noise, the pull, the smell of hot oil, you realize something. This isn't just a tuned engine. It's rebellion in metal form, a tiny mechanical protest against anything boring, bland, or over-engineered. Legacy and influence. It's been decades since Volkswagen built a brand new air-cooled flat four, yet somehow this engine refuses to die. Go to any classic car meet and you'll hear it before you see it. That soft, uneven thrum in the distance, like an old friend clearing its throat. The sound turns heads because everyone knows it. It's nostalgia on wheels. With the production of over 21 million Beetles alone ending in 2002, the engine's unique sound was ubiquitous for generations. The Volkswagen Flat 4 isn't just an old motor, it's a symbol. It powered freedom in the post-war era, rebellion in the 60s, and adventure in the 70s. From Beetles crossing continents to buses carrying rock bands, it was the soundtrack of a changing world. While Detroit chased horsepower and Italy chased glamour, Volkswagen prioritized reliability, winning hearts instead of trophies. The engine's influence extended beyond its production, shaping Porsche's Flat 4 and subsequent Flat 6 designs for the 911. Its boxer layout also served as inspiration for Subaru's engine philosophy. The Flat 4 was even adapted for aviation, with specialized kits developed for light and experimental aircraft. Contemporary builders still utilize the Flat 4 in electric conversions, kit cars, and off-road racers. Aftermarket companies continue to manufacture new parts, including high-performance cylinders that can increase displacement to 2,332 cubic centimeters. Functional, transparent model kits are also commercially available for assembly. The design is enduring, built for utility rather than luxury or vanity. Each time one of these engines is started, it connects generations, serving as a reminder that ingenuity is often found in simplicity. The Volkswagen Flat 4 is not merely a historical artifact, it is an enduring presence. The hidden truths. Here's the part most people don't talk about. Maybe you can say the dark side of that cheerful little engine or something like that. The Volkswagen Flat 4 may have a heart of gold, but it also has a few secrets hiding under those tin covers. For starters, cooling only works if everything around it is perfect. The tin shrouds, the fan housing, the seals, they're not decorative. They form a precise air tunnel that directs cooling air exactly where it needs to go. Take one piece off or swap it for a cheap aftermarket part, and you're cooking your engine from the inside out. Many Flat 4s have quietly died this way, victims of missing tin or bad airflow. Then there's maintenance discipline. Valve clearances need checking, timing needs setting, and oil changes aren't optional. Skip a few and that smooth hum can turn into a metallic rattle faster than you'd expect. Some owners learn this the hard way, usually somewhere between a mountain pass and a long walk home. And let's not forget fuel. Modern ethanol blends run hotter and leaner than what these engines were designed for. Run them hard without proper tuning, and the old magnesium cases start feeling the strain. So yes, the Volkswagen Flat 4 can live forever, but only if you treat it like a living thing. Neglect it, and it'll remind you who's boss. Future outlook and practical advice. So here's the truth. Even though the world has moved on to hybrids, turbos, and electric motors, the Volkswagen Flat 4 isn't going anywhere. It's too simple, too iconic, and too loved to ever really fade out. The secret? Maintenance, respect, and a little modern help. If you own one today, your first job is keeping it cool. Make sure every piece of tin, every seal, and every duct is in place. That's your invisible armor against heat. Second, oil is life. Change it often, use quality filters, and never ignore leaks. This engine tells you when it's unhappy. You just have to listen. Want to keep it on the road for decades? Modern upgrades are your friends. Electronic ignition, better oil pumps, and even subtle fuel injection systems can give your old Flat 4 new lungs without ruining its soul. And for the dreamers, the Volkswagen community is massive. Clubs, online forums, and even new parts suppliers still thrive. You can build a Beetle or bus today from scratch if you really want to. The Flat 4 may be vintage, but it's not outdated. It's a survivor, a living reminder that good engineering doesn't need to be complicated to be brilliant. Keep it cool, keep it oiled, and it'll keep telling its story, one unmistakable thrum at a time. And if you've made it this far, you're clearly someone who appreciates machines that tell stories. So if you enjoyed uncovering the explosive truth behind this legendary engine, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and tell us in the comments which classic power plant you want to see next. See you in the next video.